high school, coming out of Cedar Falls, Iowa. Had a chance to cover him coming into the University of Alabama, watched him develop, go through the process, and it's fun to be able to follow it. And we talked about this earlier with Dan Shunka, watching dreams come true from high school to the University of Alabama and then to the National Football League. We welcome back Ross Pierschbacher. Ross, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, absolutely. And can you kind of summarize what the last 5 years have been like here in T-Town?
Oh, it's been, nothing short of a, miracle. I mean, it's been pretty awesome. I had a lot of high goals and aspirations coming in, and I think this place met and exceeded every single one of them. So I'm just super thankful for the time that I spent here at the Capstone and just being able to, win 2 national championships, 4 SEC championships. It was just a dream come true.
Yeah, and certainly when you talk about winning a class, tying that record as your senior class. Ross, let's go back to the high school. Coming out of high school, what kind of pushed you toward Alabama? What was it that sold Alabama in kind of recruiting you to the Capstone?
Really, it was just the tradition that was here. I just knew how much football meant to this university and this state, and I wanted to play in front of fans that really cared about football and were there for the players. And I think just Coach Saban, being able to say that I played for Coach Saban and just the resources that he had around the, facility and everything like that for our football team was just really attractive to me for wanting to go there and just really maximize my potential.
Ross, who was the individual coach that recruited you, assistant coach-wise, that was a primary recruiter for you?
So back in the day, Bobby Williams was my area recruiter, and then Mario Cristobal was the offensive line coach at the time. So he was basically the main one doing most of the recruiting was Coach Cristobal, but both those guys kind of tag teamed.
Ross, what is Nick Saban like behind the scenes? Most of us will never have the opportunity to create that relationship and being one of the leaders and having a chance to go through the process. What is Nick Saban really about? What's he like behind the scenes?
He's super businesslike. He runs a tight ship. He kind of creates an atmosphere of that really has us never get complacent. He's kind of always putting pressure on his coaching staff, his players, to where we never feel like we've arrived. And so I think that's where all the success comes from, is just really feeling like you've never kind of made it. And I think once you do have that feeling, that's when you just stop winning. And so I think that's why he's had to be able to have so much success. And but he is, I mean, the media's seen it. He's pretty witty. He comes up with some good jokes, and so he kind of cracks some jokes to us as well in meetings and stuff like that. And so yeah, he's a good time to be around.
Okay. So, but like seeing the serious side of him. Okay, so carry me back to walking into Alabama, and you get that first kind of maybe first one-on-one experience with Nick Saban, and you kind of like. I mean, I'd be nervous, right? I mean, and then he kind of cracks the joke, and then it's like, hold on a minute, I never saw this side of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just see everything on TV and kind of hear and just have this folklore around him, surrounding him, and just bigger than life, and then you're sitting in his office and he's pressing the button. He sits down and he presses the button and his door shuts, and it's just like, I don't even know. I felt like I was in a dream. Like, it was just kind of surreal, just being a high school kid at the moment, meeting him for the first time and just having that one-on-one talk. But everything that he told me, he didn't make false lies, just saying, hey, you're going to do this and this. He just kind of was very straight up and honest with us and said, this isn't for everyone and it's going to be tough, but you're going to have to work for it. And that, I really respected that out of him, is that he didn't kind of have false promises.
Well, that we were talking to Julio Jones a few months ago, and we featured him, and he pretty much said the identical same thing that you just said. He said there was no false promises. He said when I came in, I was third or fourth string on the depth chart. I had to work my way up, and he said it made me the player that I am today because of the competition level. He pretty much described it the same way you just did.
No, absolutely, and I think that's why, that was one of the other reasons that I wanted to go to Alabama. Is I didn't want to sell myself short. I thought if I want to become the best, I need to play with the best and play against the best every single day in practice. And so I didn't want anything to really be handed to me, regardless of 4 or 5 star, whatever, All-American, blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? Everyone on campus, everyone on our football team is a 4 or 5 star and was an All-American high school. Like, we're all good, and none of that matters anymore. And some guys, it takes a little bit longer to for them to realize that and kind of deal with that. But for me, I was definitely ready for that.
Ross, let me take you back to maybe this time last year, or maybe it was a little bit later. I don't exactly know. But talk about the transition from guard to center and kind of Nick Saban. How did that come about? I mean, was it a question that came up, or how did he make that transition to maybe ask you to play the center responsibility?
So I actually told him that I want to play center. So I went up to his office and we had a one-on-one meeting, and I told him, hey, I think this would be a good move for me. In my mind, I was thinking, all right, I'm going on my 4th year starting, and I was thinking more about kind of the future, and just versatility in the NFL and stuff like that. Would a 4th year at guard look better, or would being able to play a center role where that would ultimately, I would have started at all 3 positions interior after that. So I feel like that was just a better move, and that's kind of what NFL teams wanted to see. And if I put good tape out there with me playing center, that it would just help me out a lot. And he agreed. And I mean, the rest is kind of history. But
And speaking of center, we're also counting on, and it's been a consistent run of centers when you talk about going back and just, looking at the transition. It seems like there's always somebody there ready to take that responsibility. It's the quarterback of the offensive line, and we appreciate offensive linemen on this show. We feature probably more offensive linemen than any other position because we love talking about the trenches. Talk about Chris Owens for a minute.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, Chris been around the program for a while now. He knows what to do. He's kind of been around and been in the shadows behind, Bozeman or me playing center and stuff like that, and just really got to learn, I think, and just grow up. And I think that he's ready for the challenge. And from what I've seen in practice, he's done a really nice job so far. But the knowledge is there, the ability's there, and so I'm excited to see what he's able to do.
Well, certainly, we're talking about the offensive line and looking at the Nick Saban we're only a rep chart. We don't want to get him mad, but certainly when you look at that offensive line, it seems to be a very physical lot of big guys. We were averaging the offensive line coming into that last scrimmage. I think they're around 327 across the front. That's a pretty good big grocery bill.
Yeah, that's a little bit bigger than we were. They're just making them bigger nowadays, I guess. It's going to be a different looking offensive line for sure this year.
Ross, let me ask you about Scott Cochran and the role that he plays, because you guys build a relationship with him, and I watch it from a distance, but I don't understand it inside that locker room like you do. Talk about the importance of Scott Cochran inside that locker room.
He's a player's coach. He's there for us. That's kind of our guy where if anything's going on mentally, if something, if a player's down, he notices it real quick, and he's our outlet for us to go talk to. I mean, he's got the open door policy, so we feel very welcome to, just go talk to him about anything, really, life, whatever, if there's any issues going on. And he's our outlet to really just kind of release. And so he's awesome. A lot of guys have a lot of great relationships with him, and he's a crucial part of our organization, obviously, and that's why Coach Saban's always, if any rumor of him possibly leaving comes up, that he's dying to keep him on the staff because he knows how important he is to us.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to watch that relationship and the chemistry that he's able to build. And I mean, do you ever see Scott Cochran have a low day? I mean, does the guy ever just walk out and you go, man, where's his energy today? I mean, because I've never seen him like low energy. I mean, is there a point that you see Scott Cochran with lower energy than he shows every single day that we see him?
No, I honestly never, and I don't know what he does or what, but just got some good genes or something. I don't know. Yeah, he's always kind of funny you say that. I just now noticed it, but I've never seen a day where he's not screaming or whatever. You don't know that he's like not in the room. I mean, as soon as you're in the weight room, you hear him. So, pretty awesome.
Ross, let me ask you about this NFL process, going through the draft process. What were the challenges? What were the fun side of it? Has there been a fun side of it? Certainly you love to compete, playing at the University of Alabama at a high level. But what has the last 3 or 4 months been like going through this NFL process?
yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. Some challenging things, obviously. Just combine it's just a lack of sleep, and you're just kind of, it wears on you a little bit, and then pro day just days get a little bit monotonous, just kind of waking up doing the exact same thing. And for us, it's like we're trying to run a 40-yard dash, and I'm not a track star or anything, so it's just tough to be able to train for this thing and pour everything you got into it for 2 months, do it once, and then never do it again for the rest of your life. So I'm just glad that at this point in time I'm back to getting ready for football, just doing football drills, lifting, and just not having to be a track star and run a 40-yard dash. But it was definitely interesting just to see kind of the insides of how NFL teams work, and coaches and executives and owners, and just kind of the chess match that they play with each other. So it's been interesting, but I'm loving it, and just excited for the draft. This waiting period right now is pretty tough. Just it's like you're just working out, not really hearing from many teams, and you just really want to know where you're gonna go.
So. Yeah, I can imagine the stress of just kind of the next 2 weeks leading into the NFL draft there in Nashville. That one decision, that one team that's going to call your name and give that phone call, it really kind of changes your life. I mean, it's kind of like the recruiting process, and 32 teams are recruiting you. You don't know exactly where you're going to spend the next 5 years. I'm sure it's probably very similar to that if you're trying to create the scenario.
Right. Well, it's almost flipped as to where, like, I'm the college school, and they're trying to pick me and fall in love with me. And so it only takes one team to fall in love with you, and that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm just really excited. I'm going to go back home next week and spend time with family and friends and be around them when hopefully, my name gets called in the draft.
Ross, on Saturday, you're going to have a chance to be enshrined at a unique fraternity, not only having a chance to play at a high level at the University of Alabama, but you and Christian Miller, Damian Harris, Hale Henniges, and you'll have a chance to put your footprint beside a lot of legendary players. I mean, you walk through and it's Kenny Stabler, it's Joe Namath, it's Bart Starr. You could spend probably a half a day out there looking at all the different names. What's it going to mean? I mean, have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, it's kind of surreal, and I just really think of how special that moment it will be, and just all the hard work over the years that's been put in, and just how far us four have all come. And I just think of, the dog days that we put in together, and I think that, there's no one more deserving than us four. Just what we've done for the university and for the team, and just kind of poured our whole heart into this program. So it's awesome for it to be paying off this way. I'm excited. I mean, it's such a big thing that you just kind of think of, well, shoot, in 20 years, you're able to bring your kids back, one day to campus and show them this. And so it's a pretty special thing, and it's an honor to, be a part of this.
It will be a lot of fun to be able to be in that unique fraternity enshrined there. Ross, let me go to A-Day, because Nick Saban's going to stand up at that podium in 15 minutes, and he's going to tell us how important A-Day is. And being someone who's covered him since he got off the ground, it is an important day. And it's either beans or steaks, right? I mean, were you a steak guy, or were you a beans and Winnie type guy? I mean, were you on the winning teams? Or I lose track exactly where the players fit in. I could probably tell you every single game that you played on Saturday afternoon. But A-Day, were you a steak guy, or did you have to have the beans? And
I'm pretty sure I went 2-2, I think.
Okay.
My last year we lost, and then the year before that I think J.K. Scott kicked the field goal as time expired to beat the defense. So I was steak guy that year, and I enjoyed the steak a lot more. I had a couple of them, and they had like the fried like onion strings on top of it and everything, and then like cheesecake. But I'm not gonna lie, the hot dogs and beans were actually pretty decent. Like, it wasn't as bad as everyone thinks, but obviously a steak is better. But I mean, I had like two or three servings of the hot dogs and beans, so I was going to take full advantage of it regardless.
Hey, no doubt. Listen, for us bigger guys, we love food regardless. But hey, Ross, final question. Let me go to this offensive line, because this is something that we don't really have a chance to talk about a lot. But the quarterbacks and kind of the treating you guys, whether it was Jalen Hurts in your first couple of years, you're looking back at Jacob Cochran in 2015, but you also look at Tua, what he was able to do. What's those dinners like, and that chemistry and that bond that's created of you guys all getting together, and the quarterback either, I don't know if he cooks or takes you guys out, or how does all that work?
Yeah, we would usually do like a dinner where we would go out and just kind of get whatever you guys want. We would choose the spot, and so we would do dinners like that, whether we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings or Baumhauer's or wherever. So a spot like that, and just kind of go to it. So it'd be probably a pretty hefty bill, but we weren't worried about that. Yeah, we didn't hold off at all. We just indulged pretty much, and multiple appetizers, all the drinks and wings and desserts and stuff like that you can imagine. But it was awesome. You know, you gain respect for that. Just to be able to be with those guys and bond outside of football, I think was really crucial for us, and just to build that trust together.
Well, listen, Ross, it's been an absolute treat to be able to cover you from your high school days, going to the University of Alabama, and now covering the dream coming true on Sunday afternoon. We wish you nothing but the best, and it's been an absolute treat to be able to catch up with you this afternoon. Hopefully we can catch up in a couple of weeks and maybe a month or so and talk about the new destination and all the great things involving the NFL draft there in Nashville. Best of luck to you, Ross. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.